Okay, in this video, we're going to put together our basic screens. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and create a couple new scenes, as well as I'm going to actually create our first real level. Remember, we're in a game test right now. We're not really in a level. So I want to show you guys how you would go about taking this and turning it into an actual level. So let's start off with actually creating our mono behaviors and stubbing them out, because we're going to need behavior for our start screen and for our end screen. And then we will actually go about creating our scenes, and then we'll flesh out our two screens. So jump into Visual Studio, go into Code, I'm going to create a class called Start Screen, and it's going to be a mono behavior, and it's going to have a public string first level, and it's going to have a public void on GUI method, and that's it. Then we're going to have an end screen, which will be a mono behavior, which of course brings in using Unity Engine as always, and I'll have public on GUI method. So I just want to get these guys out of the way so we can actually jump back into Unity and get this all wired up to be an actual game. We can go ahead and create two nice little levels and go from there.
Cool.
Okay, so jumping into Unity, let's start off with creating our start screen. So I'll go to File, New Scene. Then I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it under Scenes, and then I'm going to go ahead and actually create a new folder called Screens, and I'm going to name this Start Screen. Then I'm going to go into Code. I'm going to click and drag Start Screen onto my main camera, and on my main camera I now have the Start Screen script where I'm going to type in the name of the first level, which will not be surprisingly called Level 1.
Now see, that I could have guessed. You didn't even ask.
Yeah. The next thing I'm going to do is very, very important. Because I'm considering this to be like the actual game, like this thing you can actually build out into a standalone player or web player or whatever, I am going to go to File, Build Settings, Add Current. Add Current will go ahead... Where'd it go? There you went. Add Current will add this screen or this scene to our build. So I'm going to make sure to do this for all of the scenes that I want to actually constitute my game. Sound good?
Yeah, and that's a very important note. You have to have everything in there for it to build correctly.
Right. So then I'm going to go to File, New Scene, Control S to save it, go to Scenes, Screens, End Screen. Then I'm going to find my end screen script, attach it to the main camera, and then I'm going to go to File, Build Settings, Add Current.
Very nice.
So I have my start screen and my end screen, and all is great, except I don't actually have my level yet. I'm actually going to go ahead and put together two of them. So I'm going to jump back into game test because I can actually turn most of this stuff into a prefab. I can turn my entire manager's game object into a prefab, so the act of creating a new level is literally just dragging out our managers and then dragging out our player. And we have a new level.
That's very nice.
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and drag my managers into my prefabs folder, so I have my managers. And then I'm going to drag my player into my prefabs folder, so I have my player. Then I'm going to go to File, New Scene. And then I'm going to hit Control S to save it. Go to Scenes. I'm going to create a new folder called Levels. And I'm going to call this Level 1. So now I have my level 1.unity. Then I'm going to drag my managers out into the game. And I have all my managers out. Then I'm going to drag my player out into the game. So now I have my player. I'll put him at the origin, so 0, 0, 0. And that's almost it, except I do still need my skybox, which I can attach to my main camera by clicking on my main camera, adding the skybox component. Now remember, the way we did this, we can have different skyboxes per level, which is cool.
Indeed.
And from there, I'm going to go to Materials, Skyboxes, and click and drag Skybox 1 onto it. And I have created a level. In fact, I can hit play, and it should behave almost exactly like how we expect it to, with the exception of the camera. Now, because the camera is outside of our player prefab, we have to attach it to the player. So we click on the player, and then click and drag the main camera onto the camera. Then, the next thing that is problematic is we don't have any waypoints. That's because, well, we didn't create any. So let's put together just 2 waypoints so we can create a really simple level 1 that's easy to complete so we can see the process of moving between levels.
Cool.
So I'm going to go into prefabs and I'm going to bring out a waypoint. I'm going to 0 it out, 0, 0, 0, and that's fine. Give it a 10 time modifier and a 5 minimum velocity, duplicate it, and that's fine. Then I'm going to select this waypoint and set this one as the next one. So I'm just configuring my waypoints a little bit, and then I have to go into my manager's waypoint manager and tell it that the first waypoint is this one. Sweet.
Nice.
Okay, so that is our first level. Now, of course, we've got to make sure that we go to File, Build Settings, Add Current. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is under Manager's Level Manager, I am going to set the next level to level 2, which we haven't written yet. But I just want to do that so that we can go ahead and get level 2 hashed out, and then we can see about writing our GUI and see about this game going from start to end.
Cool.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, New Scene, and I'm going to repeat the exact same process that I did before to create level 1. The first step is to save it under Scenes, Scenes, Levels, level 2. Then I'm going to bring out my managers, and my player. I'm then going to go into my camera. I'm going to add the skybox to it. So under Materials, Skybox 1. Then I'm going to go into my player, drag my camera onto that. Then I'm going to create a couple waypoints. Or how about just one waypoint? Doesn't really matter. We'll just create one waypoint, and we'll make this level really easy and have it like literally like right in front of the player.
Okay.
Then we'll set that as the first waypoint by going to the waypoint manager and dragging that over. Now, because in our level manager we didn't set the next level to anything, it will consider if you finish this level to be the end of the game. Which means we pretty much have enough once I go to Build Settings, Add Current. We're pretty much almost all the way there to creating our entire game, at least as far as the functionality is concerned. So let's jump back into Visual Studio and flesh out our start screen and our end screen. And then let's see if we can get this game to go from one stage to, well, from the beginning stage all the way to the end. So on the start screen, I'm simply going to have an onGUI method that has a GUI layout dot begin vertical. Of course, this is just a placeholder. We'll have a more interesting video up on GUIs shortly. If GUI layout dot button start game, then we're going to say game manager instance dot start game. And then I'm going to say application dot load level first level. And that's it.
Alrighty.
Going into our end screen, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. I'm simply going to say GUI layout dot begin vertical. Say if game manager instance dot did win, then GUI layout dot label you won. Else GUI layout label you lost. Then I can say GUI layout label with blank points, turn it into a string format, and do game manager instance dot points. Then I'm going to say if GUI layout dot button close application load level start screen. And then finally, to finish up this, we can go ahead and say GUI layout dot end vertical. Look good?
Looks good.
Awesome. So if we come back into Unity, we are going to go ahead and jump into my start screen by going into Scenes, Screens, Start Screen. And we are going to add one more game object to the scene, and that is going to be our game manager. Which, remember, we have this game manager instance facade thing that will instantiate a game manager that'll persist throughout the entire playthrough, and I'll be sure to not set is debug to true. So you ready?
I am ready.
All right, I hit start. We have a start game button. We click it. We get to the first level. We get to the second level. It says you won with 0 points.
There we go.
I might want to actually try to get some points. It's kind of hard with the way I have things set up. You won with 650 points. Now if I die or I run out of time, it says you lost with 1200 points.
There you go.
Looking good?
Looking good.
Awesome.
I like it.
So that is pretty much the bulk of the application as far as the screens go and the lifetime of the application. Now there are some more things that we're going to go ahead and implement, one of them being high scores. After that point, really all that's left in the application is just polish, sounds, and particle effects.
Sweet.
All right.